Jeff, the relatively quick result in the presidential race means major newspapers have their front pages ready. Want to show you some of them. The Washington Post with this headline, Trump triumphs. Also, the New York Times says Trump storms back. And we have a done deal on the front page of the New York Post. And the West Hawaii Today has just one word: trumped. Also, within the last 20 minutes, we heard from the campaign spokesperson for Trump saying that one of the first things President-elect Trump will do as president is deport millions of undocumented immigrants, as he has repeatedly pledged. The American people delivered a resounding victory for President Trump. That was Carolyn Levitt telling Fox News that. His first day of office, Inauguration Day, is Monday, January 20th.
There is a big change in power coming to Capitol Hill. Republicans have won control of the Senate. We've got Michelle McConaughey here tracking that. And Michelle, we're still waiting to see whether Republicans will also keep control of the House.
Yes, we are, Chris. But we do know Republicans will retake the Senate for the first time in years. Democrats had a slim 51-49 majority coming into the election, but Republicans flipped 3 seats in Ohio, West Virginia, and Montana to give them that 52 number. There are still a handful of other seats to be decided. Having a Republican-controlled Senate is a big bonus for Donald Trump. The Senate has the lead role in confirming cabinet members and a new Supreme Court justice if there is a vacancy. And taking a look at the U.S. House right now, there's still a lot of races to be decided here. Right now, NBC News has called 203 of them for Republican candidates, and 218 are needed to have control of the House. Republicans came into the election with a slim majority.
Voters in 10 states decided whether to protect abortion rights on Election Day. Measures to protect abortion access passed in Missouri, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, Maryland, and New York. Missouri will be the first state where a vote will undo a ban that's already in place. In contrast, Florida voters rejected a measure to overhaul the state's 6-week abortion ban. Results are still pending for Montana, South Dakota, and Nebraska.
Janet Cowell is set.
Right now, as you're getting your Wednesday started, Donald Trump is officially the projected president-elect. He won Wisconsin, which put him at 277 electoral votes, above the 270 threshold to win, with more to come eventually.
And Jeff, he had a decisive series of wins in swing states. We have WRAL's Michelle McConaughey following that this morning. Michelle, it was a big night for Trump in those states where he campaigned so heavily.
It was a very big night, Chris. There were 7 very important swing states in the election. North Carolina was one of those states that Trump won. You can see it highlighted in red there. His win in Wisconsin, that was announced about 5:30 this morning. That's what put him over the top. But he also took Pennsylvania and Georgia. And going back to some 2020 election results, those were all states that President Joe Biden won in the election. You can see all of those highlighted in blue. And coming back to last night, what we saw here in North Carolina played out in other states as well. Harris won the urban areas, but the turnout of Democratic voters was not enough to offset the red parts of those states. We are still waiting on the results from other battleground states, including Michigan, Arizona, and Nevada. Those should come out sometime in the next couple of days. Trump is holding leads in all of the states right now. And if Trump does win all of those states, I want to show you what that scenario would look like. He could end up with as many as 312 electoral votes in a landslide victory over Harris. Trump could also become the first Republican to win the popular vote since George W. Bush in 2004.
And our team coverage continues with WRAL's Heidi Kirk. She is at the Wake County Board of Elections office. Heidi, Trump gave a victory speech this morning.
Chris, good morning. You got that right. It is definitely a big morning for the Trump campaign. In fact, he took the stage in Florida around 2:30 a.m. this morning in front of a group of his supporters, on stage with Senator J.D. Vance, of course, his running mate. Take a look at some of that footage from that rally in the early hours of the morning. The former president gave a shout out to North Carolina voters for making it to the polls and pushing him to win the state. Now, as you know, we've been reporting this all week long. The margins were slim here in North Carolina. Former President Donald Trump won by about 51% of the vote. Now, Trump spent some time discussing policy on stage, touching on one of the centerpieces of his campaign, illegal immigration and border security. Now, in conclusion, he thanked Americans for their part in his campaign.
This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again.
Now, election officials will tell you that they can't certify the election until 10 days from Election Day. So though Trump is the projected winner, there's still 10 days to go until those results are official. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.